Tonight, we're talking about a place that truck drivers have a special name for. They call it the Tantric Jungle of Chitrakoot. It's a stretch of road where the stories say the shadows between the trees are hiding a lot more than just secrets. And we're going to follow one driver's terrifying journey right through the heart of it.
So let me introduce you to our guy, a veteran truck driver named Dharamveer. He lives his life on the road by this one simple mantra: drive with focus, not fear. It's a great piece of advice, right? But on this one particular night, that simple idea is about to be pushed to its absolute limit in a showdown between a man's professional duty and pure primal terror.
And believe me, the stakes could not be higher. Dharamveer isn't just taking some junk down the road. He's hauling a 17-ton government electric transformer. This thing is incredibly valuable, ridiculously heavy, and it demands total focus. Out here, in the middle of nowhere, one tiny mistake isn't just an accident, it's a full-blown disaster.
All right, so let's get into it. Part 1, a dangerous journey. We have our seasoned driver, Dharamveer, and his young helper, Saifullah. And the route they've chosen? Well, it's the one that most other truckers would literally pay money to avoid.
So you might be asking, why is this road so feared? Well, the reputation of the Chitrakoot jungle goes way back. It's legendary, filled with stories of powerful tantric rituals and agori mystics who are said to practice their arts in the dead of night. For the drivers who have to pass through, it's a place where the normal rules of the world just seem to shut off.
So that brings us to part 2, the jungle's whisper. Night falls, they drive deeper and deeper in, and that's when the whole atmosphere starts to shift. The jungle, it almost feels like it's waking up.
The very first sign is something you can't see, you can only feel. The temperature just drops, suddenly and unnaturally, and the wind, it starts to sound different, almost eerie. Dharamveer later said it felt like the jungle itself was alive, like it was watching every single move they made.
And from there, the signs just start piling up, one after another. First, they see these strange, glowing red cloths tied to the trees. A little weird, right? Then they see lemons and knives left at the base of a tree, a clear sign of a ritual. They spot some black object on the road that just seems to slide away on its own. And then they smell a ritual fire, a havan, but there's no fire to be seen.
And just when they thought it couldn't get any stranger, it does. Off to the side of the road, a figure appears. It looks like a woman, but she's impossibly tall, like she's floating high up in the air. The second their headlights hit her, poof, she vanishes into the trees. What in the world did they just see?
So this brings us to part 3, attack of unseen forces. Because now, the weird feelings and the strange sights are over. What comes next is a direct physical assault on the truck itself.
Just look at how quickly this all escalates. Over just an hour and 15 minutes, it goes from bad to worse. It starts around 9:30 p.m. with a light tap on the truck's side, something you might just dismiss. But by 10, there's a heavy thud on the roof. Then comes the sound of scratching, like long nails dragging on metal. And finally, a violent push, something strong enough to actually shove their 17-ton truck.
Let's just pause on that thud for a second. That wasn't a branch, it wasn't a loose rock. That was the unmistakable sound of something heavy landing squarely on the roof of their truck in the dead of night in the middle of a haunted forest. And that's when young Saifullah screams out, "Master, there's something on the roof." The fear is completely real now. They both understand it. They aren't just driving through a scary place anymore. They are being actively hunted by whatever lives in it.
And that leads us to part 4, facing the tantric circle. They've been pushed to their absolute limits, and now they're about to roll right into what feels like the very source of all this power. All of a sudden, the road ahead splits into 2. It's like a test. One path is glowing with this strange, almost inviting red mist. The other path is just total darkness, a blackness so deep it seems to swallow the light from their headlamps. Dharamveer remembers the wisdom from old truckers. A path that calls to you is almost always a trap. He chooses the darkness. And the very second he makes that choice, the truck's headlights flicker and die, plunging them into absolute pitch-black darkness. This doesn't feel like a mechanical failure. This feels like the jungle is punishing them for not taking the bait.
Now, using only his faint little parking lights, Dharamveer pushes forward. The truck creeps into a clearing, and there, he sees it, a massive, ancient circle of stones, a tantric mandal, and sitting right in the center is a lone figure shrouded in a rising, glowing blue mist. He's found the epicenter of it all.
As the truck's weak lights wash over the figure, it looks up. And what Dharamveer sees is just the ultimate horror. The figure has no face. Where a face should be, there is only a void, an expanding black hole that feels like it's pulling in all the light and all the hope in the world.
So after seeing that, what do you even do? We're at part 5, Return from the Jungle. All that's left is to somehow escape.
And in this critical moment, Dharamveer does the only thing a true professional knows how to do. He just keeps driving. He doesn't stop, he doesn't stare, he just navigates his truck right past the circle. And the strangest thing happens. As he passes, the faceless being just lets him go. The blue mist fades, and that heavy, oppressive feeling in the air finally lifts.
So how in the world did they actually survive all that? Well, Dharamveer was following the unwritten laws of these haunted roads. 1, don't ever stop. 2, don't look back. 3, don't you dare lose focus. And 4, the most important rule of all, don't leave the road.
And that's what it all comes down to. In Dharamveer's own words, we survived because we didn't leave the road. In the end, this wasn't about fighting some supernatural monster. It was about unwavering professionalism. Remember that mantra from the beginning? Focus, not fear? Well, that's exactly what got them through.
But this whole story leaves us with one final, chilling question. Dharamveer and Saifullah made it out because they stayed on task, they stayed focused, but you know they won't be the last people to drive that road. So did the jungle really release them? Or is it just sitting there, patiently waiting for the next driver? Maybe someone who gives in to the fear.